What is up, everyone? Welcome to the Football Chatbox. My name is Ryan, and welcome to the preseason scouting live stream. We're going to be looking at some of the preseason games, look at some of the teams that have been performing well, and which players that we should look to target as well, based on preseason so far. Manish, welcome. How are you doing? I sent you my team. Yes, I did have a look at it yesterday. I did reply to your team yesterday on the chat. We will look at teams. I think we'll look at teams obviously on Friday for Friday's stream. But for today, we are going to be looking at preseason games. Instead, Friday we will have a rate my team draft stream where we look at everyone's drafts, go through them properly and all of that. But today we're going to be looking at preseason content for the moment. And on top of preseason content, I also wanted to mention this for those of you who are watching right now. Basically, the football content awards. So I went and added a nomination for the channel, Football Chatbox channel, on the Football Content Awards site. Freddie, welcome. How are you doing? So basically, Football Content Awards, well, we don't know if you'll get nominated, but I thought, why not? Might as well give it a try. Where I basically went and nominated for Best New Creator and Best Team Fantasy Football Creators. Now, whether we get nominated for that or not, it's a different story. But if we do, it's a bit of good reach for the channel. At least I thought it might help. So if you really want to go and nominate us, that would be greatly appreciated. It's a pretty simple Google Doc form, and I can copy the Google Doc form in here and put it in the chat. Actually, if I was to click it here, and I think I probably copy the Google Doc form and put it here. You guys can check out the Google Doc form. For those of you on the Discord, it's already put on the Discord. If you want to fill that form, it takes only like 2 minutes maybe to fill out the entire form. Pretty simple. Up to you guys if you want to nominate or not. That's completely up to you. But I thought I'll just put it out there for anyone who is obviously interested in nominating the channel. And which categories, that's also up to you. Which you think is more applicable. That is up to you. But yeah, I thought I'll mention that at the start of the video. Now, having said that, Mikhail Werner, welcome. Long time no see or long time no talk. How are you doing? We're going to be looking at preseason. Now, obviously, we've had a few preseason games. We are going to be looking into a few games that have happened. Let's start with which one? Let's probably go team by team. Let's start with Liverpool. Liverpool have had 2 preseason games. They've just confirmed the departure of Luis Diaz to Luis Diaz to Bayern Munich. That has been confirmed. Roku, welcome. Frimpong benched. Now Liverpool are obviously going to be playing their next preseason game today against Yokohama. Might not be a solid challenge at the moment to say, but as you can see, like Roku just mentioned, Frimpong is benched. Connor Bradley starts. Kirkes is on the other fullback section. Van Dijk and Konate are in the center back spots. Soboslai, Gravenberg, Gakpo and Salah on the wings, with Florian Wirtz in the false 9 position. Now, obviously, with Luis Diaz departing to Bayern Munich, Wirtz can play both false 9 and left wing as well, where Gakpo is playing if needed. But at the moment, it's been now 2 games where he's been deployed in this kind of role. He could also be in game. Problem is, I'm not going to be able to watch this game right now unless I check the highlights later. But it could be a situation where Gakpo and Salah are playing like 2 attacking forwards instead, and Wirtz just behind them a bit as well. So that's something else well to consider. They are still linked with Isak. Liverpool are clearly after Isak. Wirtz is playing the 10. Yeah, okay, that makes much more sense. Oh, sorry. Really mistook Hugo Ekitike. My bad. Sorry. Thank you for pointing that out, Freddie. I completely saw this bit and I did not see the rest. Okay, so Hugo Ekitike is playing the number 9 spot. I was like, Hugo, it's false 9 again. I completely mistook the other half. Like, I forgot the line here. I was drawing the line here in my head for some reason. Okay, so the Hugo Ekitike is playing the number 9 spot. Viet's number 10. So, obviously, it's a switch in formation for Liverpool this season. And it seems like they've switched from a 4-3-3 to a 4-2-3-1 this season, and it's probably going to be the case. Frimpong, yes, benched. We'll have to see if that's going to be the case in the next game as well. They play against Athletic Club. One thing to obviously mention with Liverpool is that you're going to have to be expecting rotation for the fullbacks. Shax, welcome. Edward as well from the Pro Clubs. Welcome. How are you doing? Shax says, played FPL for the first time last season, finished 9,923 in the world. Top 10k. Wow. One of the most bizarre games I played. Not playing it this season, not good for mental health state. Fair points. Oh, well, it depends on how you want to approach it. You can take it like as a if you take it extremely competitively and then yeah, okay, fair enough. It's not, you don't necessarily need to play it every season as well. Up to you completely. Will you be reviewing any drafts this stream? Not this stream, Roku. I think this stream, let's look at preseason. Friday we will definitely be doing what do you call? Friday we'll do a draft stream for sure. This Friday we'll be doing a draft stream. Not Saturday, because Saturday I'm not available. So we're going to be doing one on Friday instead, because last week we did on Saturday. This week we'll do on Friday because Saturday I'm not there. Chatbox, I got kicked out of your club. Is this a pro club? Yes. Did you send a transfer request, Edward? If you did, I will accept it after this stream. I will accept it after this stream if you send a transfer request. So Liverpool, for me personally, I think Salah is the only reliable option at the moment. I've seen a lot of people with Wirtz in their drafts. Like last week, we saw quite a few Wirtz picks in their drafts. I don't mind Florian Wirtz. I personally would want to see him adapt to the Premier League a bit more before thinking of picking him. I have seen obviously people go with double Liverpool attack. I don't mind that. In terms of Liverpool fullbacks, now Kirkes and Bradley are starting today. Frimpong obviously benched. Robertson benched as well. Liverpool fullbacks, I think, are going to be a slight risk in terms of trying to predict which one will start the season at the moment. Because Bradley it's not like Bradley is bad, right? Bradley played pretty well last season. Arne Slot definitely looks like he trusts him. So trying to predict which one is going to start is going to be a bit more tricky, where I think then it's just like Van Dijk is probably safe in terms of a Liverpool pick. If you wanted a Liverpool defender, Van Dijk seems to be like a safe pick for me personally. But I'm happy to kind of avoid Liverpool defense at the moment, at least. If we go towards the fixtures, Liverpool's fixtures, the opening set of fixtures, they've got Bournemouth, Newcastle, and Arsenal in the first three, out of which I don't really see clean sheets in the first three, personally. Edward says, I'm a Liverpool fan. So you can contribute to this discussion. So obviously, I don't really see clean sheets in the first three. After that, I do see clean sheets. Burnley and Everton, very high chance of a clean sheet. Crystal Palace also maybe, and then Chelsea, it's going to be a bit more harder. Probably no clean sheet there. United, it's at Anfield, so they should probably have a chance of keeping a clean sheet there as well. I sent one chat box. Thank you. No worries. So that's kind of why I'm not starting with Liverpool defense, because first three, the chances of a clean sheet I feel are a bit more lower. But Salah is in my draft. I've seen a lot of people say, oh, here's a draft with no Salah. For me personally, I'm still going with Salah. I've seen a few drafts with no Salah. They look decent. They look pretty good, I would say. But I'm happy to start with Salah, and for Salah to kind of prove me wrong that he's not a good option. Until Salah proves that he's not a good option, I have no reason to not start with him. Historically, Salah has been a really good start to the FPL season. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at from Liverpool's options personally. Mikhail says, I only have Salah from Liverpool. Same. Nick, welcome. Hope you are all doing well. I am doing well. Hope you're doing well as well. So, centre backs are the way forward this year. It's the way I'm going, says Freddy. Fair enough. Van Dijk is not too bad. Defensive contributions as well. The thing with defensive contributions, I will mention defensive contributions. Do not expect too many defensive contributions from Liverpool or from any of Liverpool's defenders. or midfielders personally, because they will hold a lot of the ball. And like I said previously, teams with high possession are going to have less defensive contributions. Any team with higher possession will have less defensive contributions. Are you watching the Liverpool game? No, because I won't be able to, because I'll be on stream here, so unlikely to be able to watch the Liverpool game. Maybe a little bit at the end, I might be able to potentially catch some, but at the moment, no. If Isak joins, then maybe I'll go without Salah. If Isak joins for Liverpool, then maybe there's a slight case to go, ooh, you could probably have Isak as well instead of Salah. You could probably go Isak and Salah as well. Although, what would be the cost of that? Need to try and get this. I'm like streaming at quarter of the website to make sure that I can get all of it in the same. Isak is at 10.5. Very expensive Isak at the moment, but I think that you might be able to make a case. The only thing that I will say for Isak, if he does join, I don't know if there will be game week 1 itself. There is no reason for him to start game week 1. He can come off the bench in game week 1 because it's against Bournemouth. It's not necessarily an extremely hard fixture where Slot has to go, I need to start Isak straight away. Plus, Isak hasn't had preseason. We kind of have to keep in mind the effect that having preseason has in players immediately being in the starting 11s. If the Isak deal gets pushed pretty late, then he might not be there in game week 1. Definitely after game week 1 he becomes an option, but at the moment maybe not. Just got a half break at work, so figured to tune in. Defensive contributions are way too overhyped in my opinion. I think you should look at defensive contributions as a way to increase your flow instead of your ceiling. So certain players could be really good for defensive contributions. Certain players maybe you're let's go Everton. Actually, let's go Everton next. Because Everton, personally, I feel like at their current state, maybe their defensive contributions have been overhyped a bit too much. Obviously, they had a lot of defensive contributions last season when you look at the numbers, but their start in preseason hasn't been great. They got, from people who watched the Everton versus Bournemouth game, they kind of got outclassed, personally, from what I've heard a lot, and they didn't look that great. 3-0 scoreline, Bournemouth looking pretty good. We can actually review both Everton and Bournemouth in this. I know Everton have pretty decent fixtures to start off with, and I've seen quite a few drafts with Everton players in there. Leeds is a good opening, but it could also be a good opening for Leeds themselves, to be honest. After that, Brighton, Wolves, Aston Villa, Liverpool. We'll have to see. Thoughts on Everton's new signing? Yes, so Everton have gone and signed, was it a 19-year-old or where is Everton's new signing? Where was this? This is Fabrizio's. I think it was a 19-year-old. I haven't figured. Where was it? Okay. Man, Fabrizio tweets a lot that it's so hard to find it as well. Oh, why Everton trending? I probably don't want to see why they're trending. But anyways. With Everton's new signing, I think you guys have to kind of wait and see how he does before we kind of think about trying to get him in or not. Barry? Yeah, I think that's his name, right? There are 2 hackers in pro clubs that are invisible. There are 2 hackers in pro clubs? Really? I just saw 2 hackers in pro clubs that are invisible. Ooh, I'm not really sure. If Isak joins, he won't start right away since no training and preseason. Yes, that's exactly what I'm thinking as well, says Nehal. Welcome, Nehal. Hope you're doing well. Everton, I think approach Everton with some caution. Generally, Everton, from history also, haven't necessarily started well. I know people have started with Pickford in goal, and he doesn't start well. And then they drop Pickford, and then after that only Pickford starts getting going in terms of keeping clean sheets at all. So I'll be a bit careful with you guys looking at defensive contributions, especially like Tarkowski and all, and picking Tarkowski and all of them in your teams. I personally don't think Tarkowski at 5.5 million is good value. The only time I ever picked Everton defense at I even paid 6 million. Did I pay 6 million? I think I paid 6 million for Everton defense. That was during the time when you had Leighton Baines and Seamus Coleman, and they were FPL gods. They were like FPL royalty. They were like the Trent and Robertson, if I was to equate it to current times. They were Everton defenders that I was willing to pay a lot of money for to try and get them in. These guys are not them. So be cautious, wait and see how they do. It doesn't seem like they're doing too well in preseason as well. So I'd be a bit careful with Everton options personally. Paid like 20. Yeah, they did pay quite a amount, to be honest. Also watched the Everton game. Bournemouth scored 1 worldie from Billings, and the Dango goal was bad defending. Everton attack looked good though. But the thing with Everton is for me, anyways, I'm going to see Everton as well because I'll watch Everton play because United will be playing Everton. On the 4th of August. So I'll definitely be watching Everton play as well. FPL Batman, how are you doing? Good morning, afternoon, and evening. Yes, good morning to you, isn't it? Marcus, welcome. Dick Kuiper on pens could be a bargain at only 4.5 million. Is he guaranteed on pens though? I don't know if this Dick Kuiper train is. Maybe I'm kind of biased with the whole Barco situation last season that I'm very skeptical on everyone who keeps promoting Dick Kuiper. Are we sure he's on pins? I haven't done much research to kind of tell on that. Who do you support, says Edward? I support Manchester United. Hold on, but before I go to Brighton, Bournemouth. Now, Bournemouth so far, from their preseason, they obviously played Everton well, did well. They'll be playing United tomorrow, so I'll definitely have a good watch on that game to be able to see how Bournemouth play. Dango Otara, options, Evan Nilsson. Evan Nilsson's not a bad pick, to be honest. Bournemouth, in terms of the fixtures as well, starts off a bit hard, Liverpool, but after that they got Wolves, Spurs, Brighton, Newcastle, Leeds. It's not too bad. Not too bad. In terms of prices, if this website, please, didn't ask me. Damn, they've kind of fixed the website, I think. Bournemouth, Evan Nilsson, 7 million. That is not too bad a price tag for a forward, to be honest. Now, if Dango Otara is also going to be starting, should be interesting. But obviously, they still have Semenyo and Kluivert and all. So we'll see how Bournemouth play tomorrow against United. That should be a very good test for United and Bournemouth. In terms of Zabani is not here. He's been obviously linked with moves as well. Tennessee is a pretty good option, to be honest, if you wanted a Bournemouth defender. Petrovic as well, I think, is a pretty decent goalkeeper. One Bournemouth goal was awful back pass. O'Brien. Yeah, so we'll see. It could just be like Everton had a bad day. But I personally am... I am not too worried about Bournemouth, even though they've lost a few players, because like I rate the manager. Like their manager is pretty good. So I rate him quite highly. So I think he's capable of getting something from this Bournemouth thing. Are you doing Pro Clubs tomorrow? Tomorrow is Thursday. Yes. Christie could be very good for Bournemouth on defensive contributions when fit. 5 million. When fit, yes. Apart from Christie, now I don't know, people might not talk about him too much. I've got him in my draft. Pape Matasar as well. I kind of mentioned defensive contributions, good option as well. But that's mainly like the thing with defensive contributions, I think, again, like Nick mentioned, it's kind of overhyped to an extent. You need to pick players who got good FPL points last season and then pair that with defensive contributions. So there's no point in us picking a player who got like 40 points last season, even though they have extremely high defensive contributions, and then expect them to be immediately FPL legends this season. You need to, ideally, it's better to pick players who generally can get that 100 plus points, and then pair that probably with some defensive contributions to pick options. That's probably where I'm thinking at the moment, which is why I have Pape Matasar at the moment. Because Spurs, good fixtures, 5 million. He had about 149 points last season without defensive contributions, which is not too bad. Problem is, can he stay fit? That's another question there. Baleba at Brighton also 5 million, very good. Baleba, I don't think Baleba is going to move anywhere this season, right? He's been linked with a few moves, but don't see him moving. My only problem with Brighton, which let's get to Brighton because Marcus also mentioned Brighton in terms of De Kuyper. My only Brighton have 1 million players, and trying to pick 1 million players, trying to pick one player from 1 million is just a massive challenge. Now, Danny Welbeck, obviously he's priced at a very tempting 6.5 million. Brighton's opening fixtures with Fulham, Everton are pretty good. City probably are going to be hard depending on how City react. I don't know. I don't know what to expect from City this season. Because even in the Club World Cup, they still look like the City of like the Premier League last season. So I'm still a bit unsure on what fully to expect from City. I still think they will be up there for title challenges potentially. It's just that they have a history of starting slow, City. So in Game Week 3 itself, I'm a bit not sure. The thing with Brighton, Danny Welbeck, as good as he could be for Brighton, the man's fitness is questionable. The man's fitness is very questionable. You cannot trust him to stay fit. That is the biggest problem with Danny Welbeck as a Brighton option. Mitoma did get a goal, didn't he? From what I remember. In which game was it? Was it the game before this, or was it the Stoke game that Mitoma had a goal? Yes, it was Stoke game that Mitoma had a goal. He is not a bad option. Dr. Dribble has been a generally reliable FPL player. De Kuyper is everyone's favorite at the moment in terms of Brighton defense. Do you guys think Brighton defense will improve this season? Can you see people keeping a clean sheet? Or are we picking De Kuyper because of insanely attacking potential? Dango started where Semenyo usually operates in the last game, right? Yes. But Dango has also played that spot sometimes. But we'll see tomorrow what the lineup is like. Or today, basically, depending on your time zone. Edward says, what time? I'll decide tomorrow. You'll see the notification come live. I'll schedule it way before the time. Yeah. So Mitoma, one to monitor. De Kuyper will monitor, obviously. The thing with De Kuyper is, will his attacking contributions from last season, basically in the Belgian league. So he played 37 games, 3 goals, 5 assists. The question is whether his attacking contributions can translate to the Premier League. Obviously, in the 23-24 season, pretty good from the Belgian league. 3 goals and 10 assists. That's actually a pretty good return, to be honest. The question is whether his attacking returns can translate into the Premier League. That is kind of what we have to wait and see. Sam, welcome. How are you doing? Me personally, I'm willing to wait on Brighton and De Kuyper. I might be proved wrong, and then I'm willing to like jump on when I'm proven wrong. It's not a bad to opening. After that, like Game Week 3 to Game Week 6, I can't fully see clean sheets personally. Game Week 3 to 6. That's kind of why I don't have him at the moment. 1 and 2, it's possible. And Mitoma is probably the only one at the moment, Brighton midfield, that I'm kind of willing to trust. Also, obviously, they have Jorginho Rutter and Minte as well, who were pretty good last season. Too many options, man. Why do they have so many players? If I went full 7.5 and below forward line, could I ruin myself trying to get one of the 9.9 plus forwards if they start well? If I went full 7.5 and below forward line, if you went full 7.5, is that including like the forward that you want to? Do you mean something like this? Now, this draft is not confirmed. This draft is subject to change, and it's just still my initial draft, which I need to change players. But is this kind of what you're talking about? I don't like this forward line, by the way. I should add. What I don't like is the PO at 5.5. I'm personally thinking whether I should just have him as a 4.5 option and improve my midfield picks. Oh, I'm thinking of maybe dropping one of my 6.0s to a 5 million, using the funds to maybe improve one of these two. Ideally, I would like a Morgan Rogers. Maybe I should get if Watkins doesn't move, I might get Watkins in here instead of Gyökeres and then switch to Watkins if needed. I mean, switch to Gyökeres after that. The only reason I have Gyökeres in here is the Leeds. Anyways, sidetrack. I'm getting sidetracked. Drafts on Friday. I tried to say, should I start with a 9.0? Oh, that would depend on the rest of your squad and where you have the funds allocated and how many transfers it would cost for you to upgrade, say, a 7.5 forward to a 9.0 striker. I have Solanke, Strand Larsen, and Evan Nelson up front. Is this a problem, and should I start with a 9.0 forward? Oh, no, that's not necessarily a problem. That's kind of okay. It just depends on how you have the funds allocated. Like if you have 0 in the bank and you have those 7.5 forwards, then to upgrade to a 9.0 striker, you're probably going to do at minimum 2 transfers, sometimes even 3 transfers to shift funds about to try and start with a 9.0. That is something you kind of have to consider. Mitoma looked very leggy at the end of the season. Minter, IRA, Gruder, Enciso, Ruta, all good enough to take over the role. Too many players there. Yes. They have too many midfielders. Look at the amount of changes, guys. It's like an entire 11 that I switched out. I don't know why they have so many players. Kind of why I don't have Brighton at the moment. Although, Dick Kuiper, I'll add to the watch list. If I'm proven wrong, I'll definitely get him in, and I'll hold my hands up and I'll say I was proven wrong with Dick Kuiper. The fixtures, Brighton are keeping clean sheets and whatnot, and I'll bring him in. Arsenal. Arsenal have actually been playing pretty decently, pretty well. I did watch the Arsenal versus Newcastle game. I did watch it. Arsenal had quite a lot of position for that game. They did pretty well. Obviously, Merino got his goal. Havertz contributing with the assist. With Gyökeres set to feature apparently in the next game against who are they playing? Against Spurs. Looks like Gyökeres is set to feature apparently, according to Arteta. Even though he can never be properly trusted, they actually did play well. Saka has been okay in preseason. He had a good first game, I think. Second game, it's okay. I've got Victor Gyökeres. I want to see how Victor Gyökeres does. I think he will start the season. I don't see him not starting in game week 1. How does he integrate with Kai Havertz? Or does Kai Havertz get benched? I'm not fully sure just yet. That is something I kind of want to wait and see. Let's see how they line up against Spurs. We'll get a slightly better idea from Arsenal in terms of that. But they're looking good. Now, they have an incredibly tough opening set of fixtures except for Game Week 2. But like they have United, Leeds, Liverpool, Forest, City, Newcastle, and then West Ham. I don't have Arsenal defense at the moment. That could definitely be a mistake and maybe something I should probably look into having instead. I haven't decided exactly which Arsenal defender to go and get. I don't think Arsenal, again, big teams, high position, just forget about defensive contributions. It's not going to be a conversation. They're not going to get defensive contributions. Big teams with high position, there's no point talking defensive contributions. So you need to look instead at attacking fullbacks generally, or defenders with attacking threat, aka Gabriel and whatnot. That's not to say that they can't get defensive contributions in some games. It's just that they're not going to get it often enough for it to matter too much, or for you to kind of look into it too much. Andy, welcome. How are you doing? Hey man, just in case, but you're in here just in case. Nihal says, I'm starting with Watkins currently with a view to moving to Gyökeres over the course of the season. I have thought about that as well. That is something I have considered as well, where I start with Watkins. The reason I haven't put Watkins in the draft is He's been linked with a move to United at the moment. So I kind of want to see what happens in that transfer market situation for Watkins. The other thing being, I wanted a Game Week 2 captain. And Game Week 2, probably the best captaincy option for Game Week 2 is an Arsenal player, right? Surely. Could be even Watkins against Brentford. But an Arsenal player is probably the best captaincy option for Game Week 2, right? And that's where I go, if I don't have Saka for Game Week 2, I think Gyökeres is probably the next best Arsenal captaincy I can get, right? That's kind of why I have Gyökeres at the moment. If I had a Saka, then I probably wouldn't have Gyökeres. I'm thinking going Saliba since Gabriel injured, and we have had this problem before with him at the start of the season. Yeah, I don't mind Saliba as well. Watkins want to go to United, but Villa won't let him go. That's to an extent true. Although Villa at the same time kind of need to sell, because Villa are kind of stuck with what is it? FFP, financial fair play. They're kind of stuck with that as well, because their FFP, their margin isn't too good. Villas, they kind of need to sell some players as well, and selling Watkins definitely improves that. The only thing is we have to kind of wait and see whether they want to sell or not, and whether United are willing to pay or not. That's a different story. If Watkins does leave, then Morgan Rogers becomes a really good option. He did come off the bench in that second game for Aston Villa, scored the goal. I saw the goal. It was kind of tapping, but he got into the position against Frankfurt. So he also could become an option, which should be very interesting. Morgan Rogers. Where's Morgan Rogers? Here we go. Here we go. Morgan Rogers. He could also be an option, and could be a very tempting option. Someone else who did pretty well, Daniel Malen. Now that there is no Marcus Rashford, there is no Marco Asensio, Malen could see more game time, more minutes. If Watkins leaves as well, Malen could become an even more slightly better option for an Aston Villa player. If you're looking to try and get an Aston Villa player, is what, 5.5? I wouldn't go and get him just yet. But I would definitely think about adding him to a watch list and having a close eye on him. What is it? 5.5? Yeah, 5.5. If he gets quite a decent number of minutes, could be a very interesting option. If Watkins leaves, Villa are doomed unless we get someone in. Yeah, Rogers is great at 7 million, plays every game. Yes, that's kind of why I want to try and... Anyways, I'll come to drafts on Friday. I kind of want to fit Rogers in. I just don't know how to fit him in. I haven't thought about it too much, but I kind of want him in. But yeah, going back to Arsenal. I think a defender is good. Saliba at the moment. Miles Lewis Kelly at 5.5 is tempting, but Zinchenko also can play that role. I still think Miles Lewis Kelly is probably the first choice option for the left back spot. But do we think Zinchenko will take a few minutes here and there? That's kind of what is slightly worrying me, and I don't want like a defender who suddenly goes not playing and Zinchenko is playing instead of him, which then probably goes to Saliba is probably the safest option. Ben White obviously is another option, right back. Do Arsenal necessarily have a slightly different player they can play there? Not necessarily. Kivio, maybe. They've got a few new defenders as well, like Mosquera as well. Timber could play right back as well, potentially. Which means Saliba might actually be the safest pick out of the lot. Personally, he could be a safe pick. Palmer or Saka? I have Saka just now, but 0.5 in the bank for Palmer. I have Palmer because I find him the only reliable Chelsea asset from an attacking point of view. But okay, we'll get to Chelsea next. But yeah, Arsenal, Saliba probably the safest defensive pick. Saka is still good as an option. The only question that rises is, can Gyökeres be even more of a tempting option at $1 million less, personally? Especially given that there are so many expensive forwards and you even picking a few aren't as easy. So can Gyökeres be a slightly better value for money pick at 1 million cheaper? Is the question. I don't know who's going to take Pence. I'm not really sure. At the moment, let's just assume that Saka still has Pence until we see Gyökeres taking one over Saka. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at for Arsenal. Sandri, welcome. How are you? Right back, have White or Timber? Yeah, that's the thing. So maybe Saliba is probably the safest pick. David Raya is also an option, but I think there are better goalkeepers in terms of pricing, like Cells is slightly better, I think, than David Raya. Sandri, hope you're doing well. Welcome. All right, let's go into Chelsea because we were talking about Chelsea. We touched on Aston Villa. Oh, actually, before I go to Chelsea, I want to talk about Brentford. Gyökeres will possibly take them. Penalties, probably. I want to talk about Brentford. Now, I have seen so many people have Kelleher in their drafts. And I saw this today as well. We were talking in the Australian group chat, community group chat, and I was like asking, why do people have Kelleher? What is the thing with Kelleher? Also, Martin Odegaard. I have owned Odegaard in FPL previously. I've always thought he is probably like the third choice FPL option. But with Gyökeres in there, now he kind of goes to like fourth choice FPL option. Personally, is what I'm thinking. Unless his output improves, he wouldn't be like top 3. Let's do a discussion mate about my updated draft, says Sandri. We'll do drafts on Friday, Sandri. Drafts on Friday. Today we're looking at like preseason and talking about teams. Drafts definitely on Friday. But we'll talk about players if you want in this one. All right, Brentford. Now, here's the thing. I've seen so many people with Kelleher, and I asked this question today as well. And I'm going to ask you guys this question as well. Is it just me, or are people overlooking the fact that Brentford have lost their manager, their captain, their talisman, and are generally expected to be a weaker squad? I kind of look at Brentford and I go, they might be in trouble and might even potentially be facing a relegation battle potentially. Is it just me who's thinking like that? Or do we expect Brentford to be a decent mid-table team? Because I've seen Kelleher in so many drafts. And I don't necessarily see too many clean sheets from Brentford's opening at least 6-7 fixtures. Okay, maybe Sunderland, but Sunderland have improved, guys. They've gone out and got some nice sign-ins, I should say. Sunderland made some pretty decent signings. They've confirmed Granit Xhaka as well. Are we just looking at Kelleher and going, he'll just get enough save points and because of that it's kind of going to be worth it? Or what's the case with that? I'm not sure. You guys tell me, because I'm not sure if I'm kind of like, I'm not getting the whole Kelleher idea. I think Kelleher is a good goalkeeper, by the way. I completely think Kelleher is a good goalkeeper. But it gives me a whole like the Mark Flecken 2.0 vibes, where in this case you get a better goalkeeper, but I think the team is worse off compared to when Mark Flecken was in Brentford. It's the Liverpool thing. I generally think Brentford might go down. Yeah, probably. I don't know if they'll go down or not, but I think they're in a conversation for if they continue, if they lose Visa on top of it, I think they're kind of in the conversation of like they could be in trouble. I'm telling you something. Gyökeres will be a template player. He's already in a draft. I'll tell you that. Brentford are living off the last 3 years, possibly. No, you're right, but 4.5 keeper options are just so bad currently. That I agree. I definitely agree with that. I think that 4.5 keeper options this season are not that great. That's kind of why I have a 5.0 keeper as well. Like usually I'm a person who goes rotating goalkeepers and I'll have rotating 4.5 keepers. But this season I just haven't been interested with any of the 4.5 keepers. Keller is kicked off his Liverpool hype. He's a good goalkeeper. I'm not going to say he's not bad. He's not a bad. He's a good goalkeeper. I'm just wondering if the team is going to be a bit more struggle this season. Like they're going to struggle this season. Kelleher from Liverpool, who had VVD and Konate in front of him, rate him as a keeper, but not in this difference. That's kind of where I am at as well. So I don't know. Maybe I'm. That's why I was. Because I because of my poor rank last season, I wanted to make sure that this season when I'm building a draft, I'm not overlooking stuff. And that's why when I see Kelleher in so many drafts, I'm still questioning: am I making a mistake myself by not having it? But I don't know. I just don't rate the. I don't know. But I do agree. The 4.5 goalkeeper market is not that great. At least at the moment, doesn't look that great. Is there any good Leeds players? There are a few Leeds players that could be decent for their price. So obviously you'll see a lot of what's his name? Rodden. I'm definitely butchering his name. You'll see a lot of him, Rodden, in your. You find a way to. You guys can see the name, right? I'd like to find a way to. Let's see. Can. Nope. There we go. That's the best I can do. He's definitely up there. People have him because of the defensive contributions. Although I do believe Jaden Bogle is probably the more attacking, like Leeds fullback. If you're looking for an attacking Leeds fullback, this guy is your man. In terms of attacking options, Pio is the current forward. Wait to see in terms of Leeds whether they make any signings and whether that changes it. When I did the initial video of looking at promoter teams, I did mention Dan James as a Leeds midfielder option, but I think there's slightly better midfielders that you can pick at the moment. And I also think he's going to have, I did mention this in the video as well, that he might have potentially competition with Nyonto as well. So that's a bit of a problem that you kind of have to probably avoid a Leeds midfielder for the moment. Darlow is definitely up there for discussions as a 4.0, possibly a 4.0 starting Leeds goalkeeper. But didn't Leeds sign a goalkeeper or something, or did I mistakenly read that somewhere? Can someone confirm whether Leeds made a goalkeeper signing? Actually, Leeds transfer market. Did they make a goalkeeper signing this season? So many ads. Why does transfer market have so many ads? Lucas Perry. Aha, they did make a goalkeeper signing. Okay, so Darla is probably not going to be a goalkeeper of choice. Fair enough. I take it back. Darla is not an option from the looks of it. Lucas Perry has come in. How much is Perry? 4.5. Oh well. There goes my 4.0 keeper of choice. Kinski also is no longer probably an option because Kinski has been linked with a loan move as well, away from Spurs. So he's also probably not going to be an option. Petrovic is another option, but again, they lost Huijsen and probably Zabani too. Yeah, that's the thing. But I do rate Bournemouth slightly more. I rate Bournemouth as a slightly better. I definitely rate Bournemouth as a better team than Brentford. It's just that I look at Bournemouth's fixtures. They could keep a clean sheet against Wolves and probably Leeds. But the other four fixtures in the opening 6, they're probably not keeping a clean sheet. Maybe I might even lean towards Petrovic over Kelleher. Just because you might get slightly better luck in terms of clean sheets. Bijol is better option, but he doesn't play Game Week 1. This is for Leeds. He's suspended, isn't he? Yes. Yep. Which is why I said Jaden Bogle 4.5. Good attacking option. Remember the video did at the end of the season? Yes, that's what. Lifflick Sunderland, he's going to play number 10. Yes! I have him in my team here. Enzo Liffey. Takes set pieces, I think. Also has good defensive contributions, I should add. And given that they've got Xhaka as well, Sunderland, they've got a few signings in midfield. I don't mind him. That's the, 5.0? I think it's a good option. If you're looking for 5.0 options, probably one of the best at the moment. 265.11 com. Aditya, welcome. How are you doing? Welcome. Love 4 million could play the first 2 games, but it's a risk. Yeah, but it's like this thing, right? It's a risk. Like there's kind of, but at that same thing, how much is Bayern dear? Oh no, Bayern is 5 million. Never mind. I mean, Bizot 4.5, right? He could probably play the opening, but then it's just not worth it. Is Bizot the opening goalkeeper, Andy, or is it someone else? But like, it doesn't seem like Martinez is leaving, so he's going to be Aston Villa's number 1 goalkeeper. It's just that you kind of have to wait. Joe Gauchi. Probably a risk. I wouldn't go. You'll have to switch your goalkeeper later. I probably wouldn't bother. If you can find a starting 4 million goalkeeper, then yeah. Who is the best 5.5 to 5 million goalkeeper? I have Cells. I have seen a few people pick Bobby Sanchez from Chelsea as a 5 million option. I don't mind it as a 5 million goalkeeper. I still think Forest and Cells have a pretty good set of opening fixtures for 5 million goalkeeper. Gauchi is not good. No 4 million. Grassi, Martinez is banned with 2 matches. Yeah, that's the thing. So yeah, maybe opening 2, but then after that you're looking for another goalkeeper. Oh, are you though? Depends on when you're wildcarding. For anyone who's bench boost in Game Week 1, that could potentially be a player. And why such a bad attack? Who is the bad attack? Who, my attack? Don't look at my draft. There's still a lot that I need to change. I myself don't like the attack. I'll tell you that now itself. And also 5.5 midfielder. Who is the best 5? And 5 million midfield. I think the Sunderland one is good. I also think Papa Madesa for 5 million is good. 5.5. I will get back to you on that one. I need to look a bit more into that one. I'll probably make a video for best budget players sometime next week once we have more preseason information. How does that sound? Next week, I'll make a video for you guys. Best budget players. Andrew Barton, welcome. Adingra, he says. Would be an option. Alright, Chelsea. Chelsea. Won the Club World Cup, played well. Cole Palmer, yes. Cucurella, yes. We'll obviously get a game against Leverkusen and AC Milan, which will be a good indication of like the rest of the team. Here is the question for everyone else. Is Joao Pedro a trap? Is Joao Pedro a trap? They've signed, they're looking, I think they're almost close to signing. They're close to signing Javi Simmons. Okay. They've been linked. Chelsea will always be linked with like various players. They've signed so many players that I've lost count of how many Chelsea players that Chelsea have signed. They've signed so many players, okay? So, do you think Joao Pedro, is he a trap? Welcome. MFZ, welcome as well. There isn't currently a plain 4 million goalkeeper. Aha, yes, there. Maybe the best 4 million or Bentley. Will Bentley start though? How did I miss your stream, says MSZ? I don't know. I go with a Chelsea attacker. Everyone is a trap. I have Cole Palmer. But look at this list of signings. Guys, is this just arrivals? This is just arrivals. This is the entire squad. Most other teams would have this as a squad. Oh, actually, there are a few players who have been end of loan and then have been sold after as well. So it's not fully accurate, but like, yeah. Pedro definitely a trap, says Andrew. Combe says hi. Yes, hi. If you pick Pedro, I might be ruined. I haven't picked Pedro. My team is, says Sandri. I will have a look at your team. I'll look at drafts on Friday. But if anyone in the chat wants to help Sandri out with the team, definitely give your opinions as well. I've got Palmer, and I don't think Palmer's a trap because he's probably going to play a lot of games. He's definitely their best player. I think Enzo from the other attackers, I think Enzo is probably also a decent option. But with Xavi Simons coming in as well, who could play that number 10 spot, if I'm not mistaken. I think number 10, yes? Or am I mistaken with that? No, number 10. Yeah, that's correct. So who could play that number 10 spot as well? Does that mean Enzo goes to like the CDM spot and then Xavi Simons takes the number 10? I don't know. Chelsea have too many options. Joe Pedro can also play that number 10. And then Delap plays the striker. The thing is, Chelsea have so many attackers. I just don't know which one to trust and to start with. Maresca wants 3 teams each for the league, domestic cups, and Europe. Definitely looking like it. It's definitely looking like it. Pedro is proven Prem player. Yes, I'm not gonna. Yeah, Pedro definitely proven Prem player. But is he going to get enough minutes? Is our question. Will he get enough minutes to warrant a spot in our FPL teams? My front three would probably be Haaland, Solanke, and Welbeck. Ooh, that's not too bad. Welbeck. I have issues with Welbeck's fitness. That's the only thing I have issues with Welbeck. His fitness. But the other two are pretty good. If Xhaka is 5 million, he'll be in everyone's team. Will he though? I think at the same. If he's 5 million, people should still probably, I'd say, pick Enzo Lefe if he's like the number 10. Thoughts on my draft? Gabriel, it looks good for now, Sandri. The midfield looks. Midfield is not too bad as well. It looks okay. Your draft looks okay for the moment. Although I do ask about the Kelleher question again. Like the same, I've asked the Kelleher question where I'm like, am I missing something with Kelleher, or is he probably not the best option? But yeah, it's a pretty decent squad, I'd say. Pretty decent starting squad. So yeah, Chelsea. I've only got Palmer. I've got Cucurella as well, to be honest, because I think he's a pretty good attacking fullback, and I think he's worth the money for 6 million. And Chelsea's fixtures, the opening 10 game weeks or something, is pretty decent. I don't mind Chelsea's opening set of fixtures, and Cucurella with his attacking flair, I like it at the moment. Although if I was to downgrade if I was to pick a 6 million defender between like Cucurella or City defender, at this moment, I probably lean towards Cucurella just because I know he's going to start. Xhaka will be on tackles, interceptions, will be on free kicks. We'll see. Just got a feeling Sunderland will stay up, spend 12, and Edinburgh will shine. Yeah, Sunderland did spend quite well from the looks of it. They could potentially stay up. I initially had them as going down. I'll tell you that. When they got promoted, I was like, these guys are going down. But they've made some good business. They've spent quite a lot of money as well. But they've done good business. So we'll see. We'll see how they do. They need to keep clean sheets though. That is one thing that they struggled with last season in terms of defense. All right, that's Chelsea. I think Pedro might be a trap potentially. Might be okay to start, but I don't know. Let's see how they do in against Leverkusen and AC Milan. We might get a bit more of a better idea after those two games. Who else has opening fixtures that are pretty decent? Spurs. Actually, West Ham. Let's start with West Ham. Now, I did watch the West Ham versus Manchester United game. I watched the entire game. I thought United were the better team. And that's not my bias talking. I actually thought they were the better team, especially in the opening half. However, Jared Bowen does Jared Bowen things where somehow or the other he gets a goal for West Ham, and he continues to do it. And he did it last season where he just somehow gets a goal for West Ham, even though West Ham were poor. As poor as West Ham have been every season, like most games last season, Jared Bowen finds a way to score, and he did it in this preseason game as well. Now, does that mean Jared Bowen is a good option? As a player, he's a good player. Is he a good 8 million FPL forward? That is the question. And that's where I go. I am uncertain. I am 50-50. Because he's not playing the forward role, right? He's playing like a wide player role. That is kind of why I'm like, if only he was classified as a midfielder, I would have definitely recommended him. Now that he's classified as a forward, he gets one less point for a goal. Obviously, he doesn't keep those clean sheet points, not like West Ham were keeping many clean sheets anyways in the first place. So that didn't really count. Bonus points have now been leveled out where you get the same bonus points for goals regardless of which position you are. So that's kind of okay. He might still be the best West Ham FPL option. However, I also do think that West Ham, even though they have Sunderland opening game week 1, the way Sunderland have spent, it might also be a good game for Sunderland at the same time. So I've seen a lot of Jared Bowens in their drafts, and I don't think it's a bad pick. I'm just 50-50 on that idea, whether it's a good pick or not. I think only time will tell whether him moving to a forward spot is good or not. At the moment, I'm uncertain whether he's a good option as a forward. Kind of feels like he was slightly destroyed as an FPL option when FPL Towers moved him from midfielder to forward. I don't know why they did it. I kind of understand why they did it because he played a few games forward, but he's not going to always play forward. That's the thing. So I wish they just didn't do that move, but yeah. But Bowen is probably the only West Ham player. I've seen people pick Wan-Bissaka. It's okay. But clean sheets, except for Sunderland, if you're playing a game week 1 bench boost, then maybe. But I don't think any of the other games are screaming clean sheets per se. And if you're not doing a game week 1 bench boost and a game week 2 wildcard, I don't think Wan-Bissaka will be the best option to have, personally. Jumping off back now, says Andy, no worries. As it stands, I will be on 2 Brighton midfielders as enablers, Adingra and Minte. We will see. Fair enough. Meanwhile, Man United are playing Bournemouth tomorrow, which I think is a really good test. Bruno Fernandes, for all the talk of, Bruno Fernandes is going to be playing the midfield pivot. Here he is playing in the number 10 spot as one of the 2 number 10s. Obviously, Bryan Mbeumo didn't feature in this game. Bryan Mbeumo is also not expected to feature tomorrow as well. Because, again, like I said for Isak, he hasn't had preseason. Don't expect him to play game week 1 for Liverpool if he joins Liverpool. He just wouldn't. He might play, come off the bench. You don't expect him to start. Same thing for Bryan Mbeumo because he hasn't had much preseason with Brentford when he was at Brentford. He's apparently not expected to play tomorrow's game, or at least not start tomorrow's or today's game, depending on the time zone. Which means we probably might see Bruno Fernandes again in that number 10 spot, or maybe even in the midfield spot. Don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But from a United, trying to pick United players, The only one I have right now is Bruno Fernandes, and the only reason I have him is because I think this is where you kind of look into like the whole defensive contributions as well, because he's a player who had about 174 points or something last season, and on top of that, now you add defensive contributions, he's almost like a 200-point player. So you're kind of increasing the flow with him with the ability to get attacking returns. So I think Bruno Fernandes is probably the only decent United option to start the season with if you're looking for a United option. Anyone else I probably wouldn't really look at personally until they prove that they are a better team. MFZ says Gakpo taking corners, not Wirtz. The game has started, hasn't it? Yeah, fair enough. I'm not too surprised by that. Gyökeres hasn't had any preseason also. That is true, but I think didn't Arteta mention that he's going to be playing or something or featuring in the next game? I think for Mbeumo's case, it was kind of mentioned that he is unlikely to feature or would not start or something for the Everton game. I think that was mentioned. Or at least some of the journalists who follow United did mention that, I think. Are Man City players essential because I can't afford Haaland? Are Man City players essential? This is a very good question. Out of all the drafts I've seen, not many drafts have Man City players. How to put it? I don't know if but I've seen City defensive options, but I don't know if City players are essential. I wouldn't put it that way. I'll say he have options in your squad where you can get City players. And I don't mean Haaland, I mean like their midfielders like Marmoush or Foden or Reinders. Try and have an option to get one of them in your squad if you don't have any City attack. City defense, I think if you have a 6.0 defender, then you can replace to another City defender. That's fine. City midfield is what I would say have an option to get. City attack in terms of forward, it's only Haaland, right? If Haaland starts like a house on fire, then we're going to all have problems because getting to Haaland is going to require a lot of surgery. And that might not be easy. Where somehow influence trying to get Bruno like I did. You didn't have to influence me. I already had him from the start of the game. The main problem with Bruno is his price hard to move on and off him. No, I would say I think it's easier to move off him. Now, here's the thing, right? If Bruno doesn't perform, and if Florian Wirtz starts performing, it's easy to move from Bruno Fernandes to Wirtz. But for those of you who have Bruno, and Wirtz, then you're probably missing like a Rodgers or something in your team. But for me, I can like easily move from Bruno to a Wirtz. If I think Bruno is not good, Florian Wirtz starts like doing well, then that's an easy switch for me. I'm on a no Salah draft that Liverpool is stronger than ever. Surely the goal distribution will spread out. It probably might, but at this moment, it's on Salah to kind of prove us wrong that he's not a good enough FPL option. At least for this first half of the season before AFCON starts. Because after AFCON, Salah just comes back and he's not the same player for some reason. That just happens. Historically, that has happened where second half of the season, Salah is just not the same as the first half of the season. But first half of the season, at least Salah kind of has the benefit of the doubt. Who would you say are the premium defenders that are important to own? I would say there aren't any must-have premium defenders. I'd say there are a collection of defenders. But I wouldn't say one of those premiums are definitely a must-have over the other. I have all three. Damn it, I mentioned all three options of Combs. No wonder Combs is finding it hard to move on and off Bruno Fernandes because he has all three. Damn. It was like, I have my plan B, which is Wirtz, and my plan C is Rodgers. Combs has all three. Which means, Combs, assuming You also have Palmer and Salah. And in that case, your option is to move to like a budget midfielder and use that money to fund your defense. How come you don't have any Arsenal players in defense? That's what I mentioned in the Arsenal point of view, where I said I probably should be having an Arsenal defender. I just haven't thought whether I should have one now or not. Cause the reason at the moment I don't have any Arsenal defense, and I might be wrong in this, is because out of the opening 6 game weeks, Leeds are the highest chances of clean sheet. But the remaining, I don't see too many clean sheets. And like Andrew mentioned, fixtures. I don't think. I think Andrew's trying to mention that fixtures are king. Or I at least go by fixtures are king, personally. So because the fixtures are not that too great, is why at the moment I don't have Arsenal defense. Although I probably should, but I haven't thought about it yet. Again, this is my initial first draft, which the only thing I have changed from the draft like I made when the game launched on stream to now is I basically added Enzo Lefe and Pape Marasa. Oh, and I added Gyökeres as well. Those were the 3 options. But then on the first draft, I had Havertz in here, and I told you guys that I was going to put Gyökeres in the first stream when the game launched itself. So I kind of only added Pape Marasa and Enzo Lefe personally from that first draft. I don't think I've changed anything else. Have I? Oh, I added Ant Nuri. That was Guardiola here, but this could be Guardiola as well. So, but like nothing else has really changed. I haven't given it too much thought yet. I kind of still want to see more preseason games. No Palmer or Salah. I do have Haaland though. Oh, interesting. Fair enough. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, West Ham, Jared Bowen, Manchester United, Bruno Fernandes. That's it from both teams. No one else. Spurs. Apparently Solanke has picked up an injury. Or not an injury, an ankle injury, basically. But apparently it was a precaution, and which is why he didn't feature. So do monitor that for anyone who has Solanke in their drafts. I saw Jet Spence take out Pedro Porro in a training video. He like clean taken him out. He took him up like it was like it was in a real game. He just boom gone. I did have Jet Spence, but I probably should. I might have like a Mickey Van de Ven. Unfortunately, I was hoping for what was his name? Who is the 4.0 Spurs defender? Vuskovic. I was hoping that Vuskovic would be an option, but we kind of had to wait and see. Obviously, Spurs played 2 games, so tomorrow, day after tomorrow, we'll know what the Spurs lineup will look like a bit more better against Arsenal. But Spurs haven't necessarily had the best start to preseason, so they are still a team to kind of monitor. They do have good fixtures though. Is Kudus a good option? Maybe. But let's see how they play against Arsenal. That'll be a really good test. And let's see how they play against Newcastle as well. They also do have PSG to add. So Spurs have some interesting preseason games to come. And that'll give us a better idea of which players from Spurs that we should probably have. Also, it seems like Kinski has a loan move linked. So do monitor that. Because if he does leave, then there goes that option as well for a cheap Spurs goalkeeper. Would love to know who starts up front for Everton, Beto or Barry. At the moment, it looks like Beto. Isn't Barry too young? Wasn't he like 19-year-old or something? I don't know if David Moyes will start him immediately. Alright, Newcastle. Newcastle kinda did struggle against Arsenal. Dogi has a rumored knee injury. Yes, that as well. So definitely monitor the Spurs camp for injuries. Newcastle, from the game I watched, they're playing K-League All-Stars. But Newcastle, from the game I watched against Arsenal, they kind of were struggling. Like Arsenal had quite a lot of possession as well. Elanga got a goal. Not a bad goal, to be honest. that he got. But overall, they were kind of struggling. And they've gone after so many players this season in the transfer window, only to just like miss out on the transfer targets that they wanted. Elanga, what they got, but like they've missed out on quite a few transfer targets this season. On top of that, Isak looks like he's going to leave. Newcastle are currently in a transfer discussion for Sesko, and they're competing for that move with United. They're also linked with Visa. So I'm assuming if they don't get Sesko, they will go for Visa. But I don't know what to say for Newcastle. I think Newcastle, if you're looking to get Newcastle players, I probably won't do it at the moment. I'd wait just to see. And it's not worth it as well, right? They have Aston Villa and Liverpool. Opening 2 fixtures are pretty horrible. So I would wait and see how Newcastle line up in the first 2 game weeks. And then if you want to make a decision, you can make a decision to make a transfer to bring in maybe someone in game week 3 against Leeds and Wolves in game week 4. But I don't think you necessarily need to start with a Newcastle player just yet. That's just my personal opinion. Rumor was Visa to Newcastle and Barnes to Brentford. Cannot see it myself. Yep, we'll have to kind of wait and see on that. That's the thing that I'm like, I'm happy to wait and see on Newcastle. Was there any other team? Man City. Let's see when they get some preseason games. I think for now, the teams that we're talking about is okay. That's it. Some of the other teams have harder fixtures, so we probably wouldn't speak about them too much at the moment. I think next week we'll touch on some of the others. Like Forest, I haven't touched on. I'll talk about them next week. Same with the likes of Wolves. Wolves have signed John Arias as well. I don't know how good of an option he's going to be. Wolves do have a good set of fixtures from like game week 2 or game week 3 onwards. Wolves have some fixtures, so it's kind of worth starting with a Wolves player on your bench. Yeah, game week 3 onwards. I've got Stan Larsen at the moment. Might be an option, but we'll discuss about some Wolves players next week. Maybe I should try and message Dan, FPL Black Wolf, and see, get some Wolves opinion from him. Since FPL has given us 2 times the chips, can we save our chips, or do we have to use 4 of them in the first half of the season and other 4 in the second? Yes, like Andrew says, 4 in the first half of the season and 4 in the second half of the season. King Jr. Alright, I think we'll end it there. We've gone on for slightly more than an hour, and I'm starting to lose my voice. And I need to get up very early tomorrow, so we'll end it there. And we'll see tomorrow. Not tomorrow, on Friday. I will definitely have a stream for what do you call? For drafts. So if you guys want to share drafts, I'll create a tweet later. I'll create a post on YouTube as well, where you guys can all share your drafts. Also, I should mention the Football Content Awards for anyone who hasn't had a look. I thought might as well maybe nominate the channel and see if we get lucky, if we get nominated for the Football Content Awards. This is the Google registration form. It takes only like a couple of minutes if you want to nominate the channel. This is the Google registration form for that, if you guys want to check that out. Or if you just want to see the tweet with all the details and like the links that they ask, it's all in this tweet in my X, which is pinned. I've also put it on YouTube as well in one of the posts, so you can get it from YouTube as well. I'll share the tweet if you guys want. If you're willing to share this tweet as well on your timeline, that will be amazing. Also, there is a defensive contributions video which is on the channel for anyone who wants to have a look at that. The data is there available. And if you wish to support the channel via YouTube memberships, that is also available. There are 2 tiers. One is just a basic tier where you'll get like badges and emojis. And the second tier would give you access to the Discord channel. And I should probably message the Discord channel because I wanted to check with the people in the Discord if they wanted to do an FPL draft draft challenge, not the FPL challenge, but FPL draft instead. If people in the Discord wanted to do an FPL draft for this season, so I'll probably message people in the Discord for that. But yeah, that's there as well. YouTube memberships, if anyone wants to check. Shout out obviously to Comb, Andy, Andrew, King Jr., Sandri, Amit, MFZ, Sam, who else? Tin, Aditya, Nehal, Mikhail. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe. We've actually increased our subscribers, by the way. We've gone up in subscribers. We've gone to 1,220. So let's try and aim to like that 2K mark. And who else did I miss out in the shoutouts? Edward, Marcus, FPL Batman, FPL Freddy as well, Roku, who else? Manish as well. Thank you all for watching. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I will see you all on Friday, where we'll go through everyone's drafts. We definitely go through everyone's drafts. It's not like I don't miss anyone's drafts. We go through everyone's drafts. So Friday draft stream, where we will look at everyone's draft. Muhin, welcome. We're just about to end. Hope you're doing well. So Muhin as well. Friday, same time, not same time as we'll start like back to our usual time, like at 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock Sydney time, which is about 12 noon in the UK. 12 noon, 12:30, 12:30. What time did I start today? I started today at 11 a.m. So 12 noon UK on Friday, 4:30 India, and it's like 7 p.m. Singapore, Malaysia, for those of you in that region as well, and 9 p.m. in Australia, or 9 p.m. Sydney. So yeah, I'll see you all on Friday. So you can share your drafts. I'll create a tweet later tomorrow probably for you to put your drafts in there as well, where you can share your drafts up. If you want to be added to the group chat in X, that's free. I'm not going to charge anyone that. If that managed by me, and if you want, you can message even MFZ potentially if you want to be added to that group chat, or just message me and I'll add you to the group chat on X as well, if you guys wanted to. All right, thank you all for watching. Shout out to you absolute legends. I will see you all on Friday. Until then, have a good one, and I'll see you later. Peace out.